talked a lot very early on about creating a different kind of experience for the visitor and a different kind of place for Columbus.
This edifice was built by the Walter family, 50,000 square feet. What does it mean to Columbus, in your view?
Michael, it's a big deal because it allows the art museum to think a lot bigger and to compete with bigger art museums for exhibitions. It allows them to expand the kind of programming that they do here, the kind of exhibitions that they do here. It's really a game changer for this institution. And in 10 years, that's proven itself again and again and again. This happened when you were mayor.
Yes, I know. I want to mark it up as one of my accomplishments.
Yeah, let's you and I both take credit for this. Right.
And the Walters family that really put this together, and it is so beautiful.
The beautiful presence on Broad Street, the window, the way our architect blended the buildings together with the church across the street. I have goosebumps now, but it was just beautiful to see it all together. And a great team that made it happen.
I believe this building was conceived and designed by your own personal architect, Mr. Mayor.
Michael Bongiorno.
Where it really all started was the idea of asking really important questions about what the museum wanted to be over time. And what we worked toward during the process was to reflect as closely as possible what those aspirations were in the form of a building.
We had the art. Of course, we wanted to build on the art, but we really wanted the accessibility.
The fun thing about architecture is that you don't always get to work on new buildings or old buildings, or you kind of get to work on both of them at the same time. When you think about it like you would think of jazz or something, where you are riffing. You have to kind of get your mindset into this idea that you're riffing or that you're choreographing a dance. And so when you have an historic gem of a building, the question is, well, how do we relate to that, right? And you don't just look at the building itself, you look at where it sits, you look at what it looks at, and you think about the whole environment and how something may fit into that. And one of the things that we decided early on as we looked around this property was, in addition to the property itself, there were some beautiful materials that were time-honored. We knew how they were going to weather, like the limestone in this building. There are copper roofs on the church across the street. And so we looked at all of that and we said, let's use time-honored buildings in a new way, right? Because the museum wanted this facility to be about the future while honoring its past.
I personally love classical architecture, so I'm really glad that the 1931 building still exists. I also really enjoy coming into the museum and being able to see the architecture up close.
The Walter Wing is important because it expanded our horizons as a museum and as a city. The contemporary art often challenges us. It gets us out of our comfort zone. But having this space allows a museum to bring those conversations forward in a way that feels more inclusive and welcoming, which is exactly what a museum should do.
Well, today's artists are reflective of today's issues. They make work that corresponds with what's going on in the world today. And they need a different environment. They don't need the kind of environment that Impressionist works need, or even pop art needed. And this building has done the trick.
So it's really put us into a much bigger league in the museum world.
What I've noticed in these 10 years, and I've been here many, many times for one exhibition or another, it's these exhibitions actually couldn't be in Columbus but for this wing.
Well, there was no room in the old museum. You know, the Ross wing was full and the warehouses are full. So it was just it was a blessing that the community supported it and were able to build this beautiful wing.
I don't know. I mean, I just want to say again how grateful I am that my first museum, my first institutional show, my first survey of my work over time was at the Columbus Museum, and I don't think that could have happened if the contemporary wing wasn't there. Yeah, like I said, there was some kind of divine timing about it, and I feel very lucky.
But it really adds to the cultural firmament of the city and brings all of that to us.
Wanted to, open the barriers to people that museum was sort of intimidating, and I think through the architecture and the passion of so many, it welcomes.
There's so much noise out in the world today, and I feel like when people come to the museum, that noise can be left outside, and it's a little bit of a sanctuary. For me, I find that my curious mind turns on and my mind chatter stops when I come into the museum, and I hope other people have a similar experience.
If I had one word to describe the Walter Wing, it would be incredible. Dynamic. That's 2 words.
I said
the
2.
third word, how about fabulous?